Oh, that's a Vet 5 Volk. If he gets that pick, that's a big, big win against Vector. No, Vector will not lose that unit. Oh! Hello everyone, this is Greyshot17, and today I am casting a 1v1. It's been a while since I've done that. On the map, Bayeux. So we got Vector and Blackwing, with one American and one OKW. Okay, interesting map. I remember this map for, oh god, what did I cover this on? The last time I covered this, was it part of Curry's or of a tournament, maybe? It was either that or it was the Master League. But it's definitely been a while since I've covered this map. But anyway, let's get to it. We got the Sturm squad placing cover. Volk squad's taking as much territory. And we got Rifleman to start, so your basic start. If you would like to submit a replay with maybe a different start, submit it down below via my Discord or my Gmail. I do recommend submitting replays, even no matter what your skill level is, what type of game it is in terms of a 1v1 or a 4v4. Take note, though, that any game that is outside of auto match, there's a high possibility of sync errors or other things, which is what someone named Lefton sent me today. Unfortunately, the game is sync errored, so I can't play it. But if you send me an auto match game in CoH2, I most likely will be able to play it and show it off live on stream, where I could do it with strategic zoom on, so I get the best, outside shot for a lot of cool arty or airstrike moments. Anyway, and you don't need to be the best player. I cover all skill types, so we'll see how this game goes with Blackwing and Vector, both being, I would say, higher tier players, it looks like, with plenty of experience under their belts. We'll see how high that level is, though, in just a minute. Riflemen, though, moving. We can already see cover being placed, so they're already decent, or at least Blackwing is. Again, using the shots from the Riflemen to push the Volk squads away. Volk squads are not in a position to fight, and they pull on back. Riflemen taking over the capture point. Right now, we have Volk squads in Sturm taking that position over. Putting pressure on the Volk squad. Another Volk, though, possibly coming on in, but Riflemen stop them in their tracks. Again, in good cover, so the Rifleman squads will easily be able to hold back the Volk squad from coming in to assist. And with that, they should be able to win this engagement. Oh, one Volk squad got pushed back. Another one's in. This Rifleman probably can't win that fight and will pull on back. But another Rifleman squad comes on in. And yeah, the OKW will probably be on the back foot here in a second. However, we look at resources. And right now, actually, the Axis are in the lead because they grabbed the munition point on this side. And the American player, well, okay, never mind. He just took it. Damn it. I would say was slightly delayed in taking it. But now we're seeing pretty much a double beatdown in mid. Volk squads can't win this fight, in my opinion. Oh, incendiary's thrown. That could turn. Oh, wait, no. Sturm's coming in, too. All right. A Rifleman pull back because of the Sturm. And the Sturm clinches victory with his close-range combat, forcing the Rifleman back. And Blackwing does not have an ambulance yet, so his men will have to go back without their health being brought up to full strength. Now, let's see. Sturm's going in for the cutoff, so all of those resources the American player just got, well, too bad. You're not going to be able to get them, at least for a short period of time. Riflemen, though, moving on in to stop them, but they're just going to cut off the territory and run like hell, which, hey, get behind the cover and maybe hold for a better fight. Volk squad's pouring on in to maybe keep this position under Allied control. Axis control. Again, not a bad idea. Fuel also being decapped. So again, really putting pressure on Blackwing, which is pretty good. I'm sorry, I see Blackwing and my immediate thought process is Darkwing. Which is hilarious because I've never really watched DuckTales or Darkwing or any of that shows. I was more of Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon's, not really a Disney Channel in the 90s, so I missed Gargoyles and a bunch of other shows like that. But, I did, like, again, through just nostalgia and people bringing it up online, I know of Darkwing. And anytime I see that, I'm like, oh, Darkwing, god damn it. Anyway, Volk squads, let's see here. Are they going to get heals? Yes, they do. And he got the mechanized battle group support, and he also got the medic, so he's good to upgrade as well. I know the feeling. Same. Yeah. But to be, hey, you know what? Actually, Gargoyles is a show that I keep being recommended by people, saying it's actually a really good, like, more mature show. So it's on my list. I have, like, this eternal list of shows I need to get to, right? But then again, I also have shows I'm watching with my girlfriend right now. So, like, I am finally showing her Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, but she's now showing me Fruit Basket. So, we each have an anime that we're showing each other. And you know what? Both are pretty good. Although it's hilarious when voice actors for one show, specifically, it will show up, and then the other show they'll show up and be like, okay, this is weird. They're literally the same, very similar character types. Anyway, speaking of types, Lieutenant with close range is able to hopefully go toe-to-toe against the Sturm. Actually winning that fight with rear echelon support. Nice pushback, though Volk Squad will still be in decent position and get the upgrade. So maybe they can push back the rear echelon, which I'm actually surprised he hasn't, like, built a tank trap. Though good job, I will say, on Vector for map control. Again, still holding that fairly well, VPs and also overall resources against Blackwing. Alright, so again, Volk Squads will try to hold, but I think the Riflemen should be able to win this fight, especially with another weakened Volk Squad in the back. Incendiary's thrown, but again, he's just going to walk around. Does the American have bars? No. No grenades or bars. So that's interesting. Usually an American player will try to upgrade his men. Instead, with Lieutenant, he went with a 50 cal. Now, again, the Germans have a half-track, which good for them. Do they actually... No, they didn't lose anything yet. It looked like they did, but they don't... They don't have the biggest army compared to the American, who has a lot more support. But the half-track could change things. It could allow additional pressure. And once again, Volk Squad's going for the cutoff. So I think map control wise, even with a smaller army, the German is doing a better is doing a better job at it. Again, trying to go for the pick, but the half track is going to put that down fairly easily. Again, and the 50 cal is a solid counter to the half track because of its armor piercing rounds. However, you need to set it up and then open fire upon it, which is probably not going to happen. It seems like Vector has been pretty good with his retreating and positioning of his units. Same thing overall with Blackwing. So I find that pretty difficult for him to do. Now, instead, he's going to go with a Stuart. I think that's a way better unit to have. That light vehicle can track down the half-track, shell shock it, blow its engine, neutralize it fairly quickly. So that's not my concern. Is only with that half-track counter. It's also against the infantry. As long as they keep distance, the Volk Squads and Sturm should be also picked off by it. Now, luckily, it seems Vector, because he maybe saw the Lieutenant, knows what Blackwing is doing. So he does give himself an AT gun, which is a solid AT gun before 10 minutes. So that way he can counter any armor. In this case, he'll counteract a Stuart. But again, with such a wide map, or large map, sorry, in a 1v1, the AT gun can't be everywhere, so as long as the Stuart is anticipating and can counter where the Raketenwerfer is, it's kind of like what the Russians thought they were doing. It's like, oh yes, the Ukrainians are sending troops to Kherson. We will send all of our reinforcements. We don't need any reserves in northern Ukraine. We'll be fine. And as we've seen in the past 2 weeks, they've gotten outplayed and not unfortunately, but gratefully, neutralized a couple of little small encirclements with their men on the retreat. Very positive stuff, indeed. Again, it's anticipating where the enemy is going to be from both players and hoping that you can outsmart your opponent, and even if they do have a counter for what you're bringing up. Volk Squad's diving on in. Again, they could technically flank the MG, but the Stuart is right there to stop any sort of counterattack. Up north, we also have Riflemen grabbing territory, which is hopefully turning the balance from a VP lead for the Germans into a VP, maybe a little bit more of a, like, comparable state for the Americans. Stuart opening fire on the Sturm Pioneer. Stuart firing on the Sturms. This Sturm is being absolutely wrecked. What the fuck? Get out of there! AT gun is brought up, but yeah, the Americans are there with Riflemen with no support, so immediately has to back up. Echelons are there just to quickly heal, or he could, he could bring out his vehicle crew. Whatever the case may be, they can heal up the Stuart and get to operational capacity fairly quickly. Volk Squads are also fighting, but at lower health, so I don't see them holding this front for too long. And the American counterattack is pretty substantial. Volk squads will take the northern position, though. I will say I just realized that the riflemen now have bars, which not great for the Germans. Now, the Germans also have SCG-44s, so fairly solid upgrades. But unfortunately, their upgrades can't help them if they have lower health. And yeah, they're immediately going to retreat after being caught trying to build some sandbags. So it looks like the American will take over this area. 50 cal backing up. Now, we do have a lot of German forces moving to mid, and it looks like that might be where Blackwing is really deficient, because he doesn't have a lot to counter, and the AA half-track is there to put a beatdown on these, put a beatdown on the lieutenant. Stuart, though, quickly maneuvers himself over with, again, a Rechelon with a bazooka team, which is also a solid AT counter. Fires, does hit the half-track with one. The other one misses. AT is on standby to fire on the Stuart. Unfortunately, not able to really inflict too much damage on it. Let's see. Rifleman is pushing himself against the brush, so he hopefully doesn't get hit. He could attack ground, but Volk Squad's going to move in instead and just focusing while he focuses on the unit from behind. Though he's getting close enough, he could fire an AT grenade, so half-track is forced to maneuver. Rechelon gets another hit on the half-track, wearing him down, and AT grenade could finish him off. MG is also caught out of position, but he pulls back as he believed he would have been suppressed. Not a terrible idea. He wasn't closing the gap with the half-track, and he could have received more damage trying to go in for the AT grenade. At the very least, it does throw some of the German forces off balance for a little bit of time. Now, we do have Panzer headquarters up here. Does have upgrades, going to guard the fuel and a lot of these key positions. Great positioning. Want to make sure it's guarded, but I do think it's really well positioned in this area to guard this very key point and flank. Now, right now we have Vector grabbing additional territory. Again, good back and forth from both sides so far. 50 cal is set up, but I think it needs to move up a little more to help cover. We have smoke going down from the American, who got himself a mortar to support against the German forces, especially if they move to cover. Or even against the half-track, you could put it down and block his sight, make it harder for him to hit. Or an AT gun, for that matter. By the way, does the American have a major? No. No major yet, though it's probably not around the corner. Stuart opening fire on the Volk squads. They do successfully push back the lieutenant, but I don't think they're going to be able to push back the Stuart. Another rifleman squad gets pushed back, I'm assuming from the NG. With American forces advancing, AT gun moves up, but Stuart is long gone. Mortar support coming on in with 50 cal backing him up. Again, with bars, I don't see the Volk squad winning the fight. Typically, riflemen can win the fight fairly easily. Incendiary does kill a model, so maybe. But Rechelon and 50 cal just says no and forces them to retreat. Rechelon maybe takes this position. MG's caught out of it. He doesn't have the grenade ability, so he can't drop smoke. But hopefully the mortar maybe drops smoke, allowing the Rechelon to move on in. Smoke is actually blocks the AT, but doesn't block the MG, and the MG will probably suppress the Rechelon. The fight for mid continues with, again, pressure being put on the Axis right now, slowly but surely wearing him down, which is exactly what Blackwing needs. Also, Blackwing did pick a doctrine, I should note. He went with Rifle Company, which I maybe talked a little too much shit on during my tier list video. But again, solid choice in a 1v1 because of its good abilities. Oh, missing. Very close to bringing down the Stuart to a very low amount of health. Again, mines are great for riflemen to place across the battlefield. Again, also the flares just themselves provide additional recon for your men, which is very good, especially in a 1v1, to identify where strong positions and maybe push elsewhere. Actually, we already see some mines from the Americans, so really good job. We also have a half-track that he could deploy, but I don't really see that unless we see maybe a sector assault, you know, decent AA. And then also we got White Phosphorus, very good ability to wear down infantry, especially American forces, German blobs, what am I saying, that could possibly move on in. The Germans could use something similar against blobs with the Flamehetzer or maybe infiltration grenades, but it's a very good counter to large blobs of infantry that just charge. And unfortunately, the OKW is, to me, a little bit more likely to blob with like Obersoldaten blobs or Volk blobs. Now, luckily, it seems like Vector has not done that. He seems to have spread out his men pretty consistently, but it's just something that I note when I see a lot of faction plays. Anyway, MG trying to suppress the rifleman does manage to a half-track and start moving on in. Also has Minesweepers, so at least he knows or anticipates the fact that the American will have more dangerous mines. Because usually against the American, you don't have to worry about mines unless they go one of these doctrines. So I'm assuming if he picks this, he knows what Blackwing is gone. So good job, Vector, for anticipating that. Unfortunately, though, while it is anticipating that, resource-wise, Blackwing does have a slight lead. Maybe he can grab some territory to help counteract that, but yeah, Stuart just causing havoc. A T-gun, though, in a great position, does hit the Stuart. Low Vet 2, so great job for getting that veterancy. 50 cal is set up, though, and we'll start suppressing the Volk, putting some decent damage in, though at least doesn't cause suppression. Does push him back, so Blackwing can move on in and grab the territory. Major's also deployed, which means armor is right around the corner. So again, something Vector needs to worry about. Vector does, oh my god, yes! Goliath play. Yes, good. Deploy the Goliaths. All the Goliaths. MG is trying to figure out what to do. Storm's trying to go in against the Rifleman, but with bars, I don't think they'll win. Maybe a nice stun grenade could help, but no. High track moves on into the sector. Counterattack by the Germans on this front may leave the American at disadvantage. There's only a Major and one Rifleman. He needs more support. Stuart coming on in, getting backed up by 2 AT guns. So yeah, Vector is like, I'm tired of this Stuart. I am killing it with maximum AT. And we'll see how he does with that. Now, unfortunately, the Major did spot. I'm assuming the other AT gun, given the one has veterancy and this one does not. So should very clearly show that there's double AT guns. But Stuart anticipates that and does pull back. Though, does get hit by one. Hold on. Is he about to be Fausted? He may have fucked up here. Faust will kill him. Did not pull back in time, and there he goes. This is not a bracket flip, by the way. I'm sorry. The bracket is for the tournament stuff was yesterday. Forgot to take that down. Sorry. This is just a 1v1 match. Anyway, Goliath moving the mid. Again, he's getting cover before the enemy spots him. You can hear a Goliath in the distance, and he does see it. If he can get around the corner, maybe. Otherwise, he'll lose it. Alright, he lost sight of it. And now he's in cover, so it should keep him in a decent spot. Now, remember, Reshlon with Minesweepers can detect that, but they're nowhere near it, and he doesn't have the upgrade. So now we know, or now Blackwing knows they're Goliaths, but again, he doesn't really have a way to detect it. Because it's in a good position right now. Panzer IV is also on the field, and this brings up a very key point that I have not really mentioned, was the fact that Blackwing doesn't have like a very good AT unit. His Reshlon is fine for support, but it's not like a M1. It's not Jackson, right? And while a Sherman is a good overall unit, it's a jack of all trades. Well, except for its HE rounds. They're very good against infantry. But against armor, it's kind of just passively fine. It'll fight a Panzer IV, and maybe with the bazooka team, it can, you know, turn the tide a little bit, but it's not going to be a hard counter and just smash the Panzer IV. Especially an OKW one with additional armored skirts and natively. Again, it's going to be a combined effort, a combined arms of the mine, the Sherman, and bazooka to really take down that threat. Whereas, Vector has 2 Raketenwerfers, multiple Faust, even though the American does too, but just to kind of put in comparison. Also, sweepers, so again, he sees the mine, so that's not going to play. But the double AT is the big thing. He has very hard counters with the AT to neutralize the Sherman, so we'll see what happens. And he's backing up his Panzer IV with the AT guns, which makes it a necessity for Blackwing to use White Phosphorus, his infantry, to neutralize this hard counter, which, by the way, are shooting and do at least one shot hits the Sherman. Now, luckily, the infantry support does force the Raketenwerfers away, bringing in the Panzer IV without any AT support. Bazooka teams hit the Panzer IV, and arm-piercing rounds from the Sherman do pen the front. Panzer IV on the back foot a little bit. Definitely on the back foot. Vector making a fuck up now compared to the... we saw that with Stuart. The Stuart from earlier. Again, no Shrek on this unit. Raketenwerfer are set up in case he does chase. But it's a win. Again, good combination from the Rifleman. Hold on. Can we get a pick? this might be the first pick if we actually do. He does have the 50 cal, and he puts down the Volk squad, allowing for, I believe, the first major pick of the game in terms of infantry. Nice mines. Kind of hurting everyone, but whatever. Volk squad is well down. Vector has 700 manpower, so it's not too detrimental. But it is still a wipe, and it's still a vetted unit that was upgraded that is now dead. Now, JLI is a good unit to bring out. It is very good long range. G43s allow it to go toe-to-toe with some American infantry behind good cover. But again, Vector is the person, in my opinion, who needs to start playing a little better with his infantry to get those wipes, right? The Steward, okay, is a fuck up, but the Steward as well it can be a harder thing as the game progresses, right? Riflemen or something, especially Volk squads at scale, and the fact you lost that means you have to redo that veterancy grind. Also, not the best choice to build a mine right in front of the half track, but I think it's a cheat mine, so it doesn't necessarily matter too much. I can't see it, or maybe he stopped it, I'm not sure. Bazooka team hits the half track, forcing it back. Goliath is right there. Does not have sweepers. This could be a fuck up for the American. And I would say that's a good wipe. That's a good counterattack by Vector, neutralizing a bazooka team that had about 100 munitions poured into it. So a solid wipe right there. No, with the Echelon AT gun. Blackwing's like, alright, that's how we're playing this game. Alright, I'm going to make sure I'm assuming a Minesweeper to protect Goliaths, and I'm also going to make sure I have an AT gun to counteract your armor. Which, by the way, yeah, just put down the Lieutenant and force back the MG. So good wipe against Blackwing right there. Again, Blackwing now taking some losses that he cannot afford if he wants to keep going toe-to-toe. Again, right now, Vector has a small lead because he also pumped out another Volk squad and had resources, by the way, to upgrade both of them. So good job having reserves so we could bring that out. Also, I love this mine is still there after all this time. Sure. Captain's also deployed, which allows Blackwing to get an AT gun. So, okay, that's how he's able to get it. Panzer IV with 12 kills. Sherman with only 4. Switching back over to armor piercing, maybe go toe-to-toe with the Panzer IV. Remember, this JLI is not a Jaeger command squad, so it doesn't have a Faust. So if you can go right on top of this thing, and pretty much it can't really do much. A half track pulling back for the American infantry, keeping distance, which I understand. You want to make sure you don't get AT grenaded and put in a vulnerable situation. Also, good job with Vector on the Volk squads. 2 Vet 5 Volk, pretty solid stuff. Can definitely go toe-to-toe with the Rifleman. With the Captain with the bar, not so much, but at least you're managing to hold the line and capture the point. Volk squad going for mid. American force has no cover, so I would give a little bit of... I would say the Volk squads can definitely go toe-to-toe. Oh, I forgot to mention, because he went over... with Goliath, Vector went Overwatch, so air support could be in the future. And also we could see... Actually, I'm not sure we're going to see an LFH. I don't see why we would see an LFH in this game. It's very mobile, which makes LFH not likely. And actually, we're seeing Vector definitely double down being mobile because we have another Panzer IV. And I know a lot of times people can say, well, Greyshot, that's a bad idea. You wouldn't necessarily go with a Panther. But what are we seeing right now? We're seeing the American player predominantly go a lot of infantry. And we have not seen a Jackson yet. And we know that he has double AT, so even if he does see a Jackson, he's like, I have enough AT coverage, I'm fine. I need something to really put the hurt on the infantry. So in theory, Vector could be in a good state. However, Vector should know that he's versing a gentleman with Easy 8s. And Easy 8 is something that if you get, which also makes it kind of interesting that we didn't see the Easy 8 instead of Sherman, but whatever. Maybe he likes high explosive rounds. To be fair, a lot of people do. But it is something... interesting. We did not see an Easy 8. Now he's going to back up. Hopefully AT guns don't kill it. They'll fire. Luckily he does pull out. AT fire and from the bazooka managed to push back the Panzer IV. But yeah, it is actually a little shocking. We didn't see an Easy 8 instead of a Sherman. But whatever the case may be, Easy 8 is something that's slightly better than an OKW's Panzer IV. So something to keep in mind. Panzer IV diving, by the way. AT gun cut out position. Not really any AT in this area, so Panzer IV is able to run wild with a Sturm, preventing any mines from hurting him. Sherman coming in at half health. Does get a good rear armor shot. AT gun moving back around. Sturms, though, could focus. Nice Shrek fire. Panzer IV diving. Trying to go for the Sherman kill. Or maybe at least the AT gun. I'm assuming the AT gun. Yep. Rifleman charging. Again, good job killing the AT gun, which neutralizes a lot of Blackwing's AT. He will get a Jackson to counteract, and I think that's a good hard counter to get. Rifleman will prevent the AT gun from being forced upon anymore, but something to also keep in mind is Vector's map control. Vector currently has map control, currently has a 100 VP lead. Resource-wise, again, going to him. I mean, with 58 munitions per turn, that's a solid amount of munitions that this player is getting. Sturms went down from a GG. Wait, what? Did I miss something? Oh, he did lose the Sturms. Sturms went down from GG mortar and plus rifles. Fair point. I missed that. Thank you, chat. So, yeah, that is unfortunate. They did lose that. But, again, at least he had some resources to get it, as well as the Goliath, which, again, I cannot wait for. More Goliath plays. Echelons do not have Minesweepers, so they have not learned. Where this Sturm immediately gets Minesweepers and the combat package. Well, there goes the JLI, so maybe not. Vector, maybe stop losing stuff. Panzer IV made the models clump up on the retreat. Oh, sorry, I was so focused on that, I did not see. Good catch. Thanks, chat. So there's sometimes I'm looking at a part of the map and I miss something, so thank you for calling that out. The Echelon is placing cheap mines in case the Panzer IV does dive again to slow it down. Again, people are not necessarily the biggest fan of those mines. I actually like them a bit, especially during like key areas of that the enemy could maneuver through or get behind the lines. It's so cheap that I could easily see them being worth it, especially if they keep them in the area for a few more extra seconds, and those precious seconds could be vital for getting one last shot and killing the enemy. Jackson on standby, let's see. And Sherman is back up to full strength, flanking MG. Could be another good wipe here by Blackwing on Vector. It will be with the Captain's Bar and that 50 cal on the Sherman just demolishing that unit. So good job. We could easily see a good pick, or we could see him killing the MG. Whatever the case may be, at least he has it. Goliath is on standby though, so maybe a good wipe in the near future. A Rifleman, Vet 3, again, solid kills. 21, by the way. Volkswagen in the teens. Trying to put pressure. We have an incendiary grenade, but again, I would rather just save that. And the American counterattack's real. Can we get another pick? Oh, that's a Vet 5 Volk. If he gets that pick, that's a big, big win against Vector. No, Vector will not lose that unit. Oh! Hell of a shot with that HE. And that's why HE is fairly good against with the Sherman. Hot damn. Jackson hitting the Panzer IV. Raketenwerfers are out of position, trying to reposition to fight off that Sherman. Half-track needs heals. Does Vector... No, he does not have mechanized building. Okay. Actually, I think that might be beneficial for him to get, so he can have native healing. But at least he got the Sturm with the support package, so healing is a little faster for him. But something he doesn't need to manually control. MG is guarding this territory. Goliath, again, at the very least, providing recon in this sector, so at least he can see what's coming in. So, just something to keep in mind. It also is a good recon unit. Now, tell me how a unit with technically no man inside of it is able to spot. I don't know, but you know what? Let's not argue with just fun. Let's not argue with that, right?
Where the hell is that bar? Get it up here. Let's move.
All right, Rifleman pushing on in, both with a decent helping of kills. Excuse me. So sorry, I thought something was coming up in my throat. Rifleman squads again, 2 and 2, both flanks. Pushing on in, driving the Volk squads back. Again, if they can hold the VPs, he can slowly bring back the lead in his favor. Right now, it went from 120 points to about 90 points difference. We have the Panzer IV, though, moving on in. Vector saving on up. I'm curious to see what he goes, right? Because, again, right now, the infantry is a big issue, but also that armor seems to be also troublesome. Though with double AT, so long as he keeps maneuvering it well, it's fine. And again, we can see here that Jackson is unable to push up because of the double AT, but we need infantry here as well, in case the rifleman just charges up and focuses it to retreat again. So, Panzer IV on standby. Half-track as well. Good shot. AT gun fires on the Panzer IV. Unfortunately, Panzer IV gets a better shot on the MG34 and kills it. So maybe the... Oh, rifleman gonna pick it back up. Yep, there it goes. Storm Squad, I guess just gonna heal the Panzer IV in the back. 27 kills for this one. The Sherman has 15. Also, good shot on the rear echelon, knocking out the bazooka it had. Jackson, though, returns fire. Cannon whiffers are out of range, though. They need to move up closer to fight off that Jackson. Meanwhile, Volk squads are pressing along the flanks. Goliath's still just standing there, menacingly in the shadows. The right flank looks... I'm sorry, the left flank, I guess, from this perspective, is wide open. Storms could easily push on in and grab that territory. Volk squads as well diving on in pretty deep. Again, there's a lot of territory right now Vector could take, and right now he needs that. Actually going with the LAF... I'm actually a little shocked by this. What is the goal here? Yeah, I mean, you still... I have not brought it up, but the American mortar technically is still alive. Has only gotten 2 kills, but it is Vet 2, so it is a nuisance. Maybe artillerying the base could be effective? I mean, I guess if he can spot and identify where the base is. I mean, right now, Vector's not... He has less frontline troops and less support infantry. Armor-wise, I think he's doing maybe a little bit better. Right? He's getting a decent helping of hits upon Blackwing. But Blackwing also has way more reserves than he does. So, I don't know. Because again, it's like, oh, Blackwing lost a unit, he can get something else. This LEFH could be a very good investment, but also could be something where it just pulls away a lot of Vector's reserves to get more men. We'll see. We'll see if it's worth it here in a few minutes. Panzer IV needs some heals. Where's the Sturm? Oh, right. Building the unit. Doi. Panzer IV fighting the captain. Should be an easy fight unless we have a Jackson or something else. Never mind. Jackson comes on in saying, alright, I have to go deal with this Panzer IV threat. We'll get a shot. Misses, though, against the Panzer IV. Sherman on standby. Half-track as well. Interesting choice to move it in against the Jackson. I mean, technically it could hurt it, but it's very little. Volk squad moving on in. AT guns are out of position because of rifleman advance, so you're not going to get AT support. So the Panzer IVs need to be very cautious against how they approach the enemy. Okay. So there we go. We got Volk squad being suppressed. Sherman advancing. Jackson is guarding this area with an M1, but I think it would be better off trying to push up against this Panzer IV. He is very close to Goliath. I swear he's like trying to lure the enemy in. Actually, I would be surprised if he doesn't move the Goliath in close range to the AT guns. So the AT guns, when the rifleman charges them, then the Goliath could, you know, set the ambush. Volk squad very close to losing it. Actually, he probably will lose the squad, which will be a big loss being a Vet 5 unit. I'm not going to be shocked if he doesn't lose it. Hot damn. What the fuck? Blackwing. God, start doing some push-ups, sit-ups, and drink some goddamn juice, because you could have killed that unit very easily, and somehow you did not. Anyway, Panzer Headquarters stops the echelon from killing the half-track. Smoke as well prevents it from getting a good sight, so good job there. Grenades being thrown the Volk, but a nice dodge. Artillery is currently hitting what? Over here? You got one model, so I guess you got something. Volk squad did die, by the way, thanks to the rifleman, so missed out trying to figure out where the hell the LFH was trying to do. And slowly but surely, Vector is losing his frontline troops, where the American forces are nearly all Vet 3 with good kill counts and a lot of pain he's probably going to put on the enemy. So, not great if I was the enemy. No, sorry, if I was Vector. Vector, you need to keep your men alive. AT guns have veterancy, but again, have not gotten kills. That's the big difference. Is you need that kill. You need to be able to neutralize it. So, oh boy, we'll see. Right now, we got ourselves All right, we the captain taking some hits with the Panzer IV. AT gun returns fire with the Panzer IV now being hit by the Jackson. Worn down quite a bit. AT guns are on standby. But again, Blackwing's not taking the bait. He's chilling in the back. I will say we did have Blackwing lose his major early on, which I forgot about. But that's important because it removes the ability for recon. Goliath, hold on. I'm just gonna set this right here. Well, there goes one Rifleman squad. So I'm very happy we at least have some good Goliath plays this game. Also, Rifleman pushes pressure on the Sturm, forces it back without fully completing heals. Nice shot from the Jackson as well, forcing the Panzer IV back. Honestly, Vector is now losing via 70 VPs, and this is not likely to change unless Vector is able to very effectively counter Blackwing. And right now, while it's close, as a reminder, a lot of Vector's manpower has gone to this LEFH. LEFH needs to get a good artillery battery, maybe heal, knock out the ambulance, maybe some infantry, etc. But beyond that, it's gonna be I could see Vector getting a King Tiger. I'm not unsure how that effective that's gonna be with so much AT, but if he plays it well, it could be extremely effective. Thank you, by the way, to Lars IPU for 39 months. Very kind of you, good sir. Thank you so much for your support. God damn. Thank you so much. All right. Anyway, Captain pushing in against the flank. MG as well, backing up. Artillery's hitting this sector, which I guess is just stop infantry from moving on in quite easily. But Riflemen just push against the other flank, knocking out the AT guns. Half-track moving in at half health. Again, American infantry can sprint, so he could get close before he set up, but did not. Again, Panzer Headquarters might have suppressed him as well, but just something to think about. Oh, Jackson can see it. Put down. Oh, gets the shot through the smoke. And there goes the half-track. Another one bites dust. Another one bites dust. And another one goes, and another one goes. And yeah, Vector's in a tough spot. So, right now, Blackwing has plenty of manpower to get himself back to a very good position. Vector needs a Hail Mary. And I could see maybe the King Tiger being that. But A, he needs the resources for that, which he does not have. And B, he needs to make sure he has a good amount of troops to support it, which is slowly being thinned out as the game progresses. So, another thing I could see would be Stuka Assault and like a combined armored effort to neutralize the Jackson and the Sherman and provide a solid victory. But, once again, Blackwing has enough resources to get both those units out if they both die. That's not a great place to be in, because if the enemy could theoretically regain multiple units after you kill them, then you're really not making a huge impact in the game, because the goal is to make sure that you kill it and make sure they can't bring it back. So yeah. And just a reminder, chat, if you are enjoying this, make sure you if you're watching this on YouTube later on, like, subscribe. If you're watching this on Twitch, hey, hit that follow button and maybe be like Lars and sub. It truly does help out. Anyway, Rifleman squad pressing against the Volk. Hello, DJ. Hopefully you're doing well. Panzer IV hitting the captain. Oh, misses. And AT fire from the M1 and Jackson smash the Panzer IV, forcing it back. Artillery is at Vet 1, so maybe it hit the armor. But again, did not get many kills. Let's see. Nope. American infantry just charging right through. Very, again, super close to killing the Volk squad. AT guns are out of position. Panzer Headquarters would fire upon him, but he's already firing upon a captain. Panzer IV is trying desperately to keep the American infantry away from the LEFH as well, but Jackson and M1 returning fire on it. Panzer Headquarters driving the enemy away. And now comes the Hail Mary, Vector deploying the King. As a reminder, we still have white phosphorus, so if it comes to Harry, you can always make sure the King Tiger cannot fire while he could. Jackson firing long range against the Panzer Headquarters, hoping to kill it. AT guns desperately trying to move over without infantry support, and he won't have infantry support because, well, very simply put, he can't reinforce. No, I'm not playing Hearts of Iron today. After probably another match, chat, I am going to be doing an escape route. So unfortunately, I will not have time this afternoon to play. King Tiger gets a decent shot against the AT gun. But again, revealing that there is a King Tiger. He's also charging. Again, Jackson injured. He's also charging, but again, M1 just repositions. Will fire. Does not penetrate. Sherman, oh, good shot from the King. Knocks out the M1. Alright, that's a good wipe, but Jackson does pen it. MG now being hit. And right now, that King Tiger is so far making a solid appearance. Killing 2 units. Very quickly. I think a flare just went out in this sector. Or maybe that was just a random piece of debris. I thought a flare went out from Blackwing, but I guess not. Again, Rifleman can deploy flares, which would allow for additional recon for AT fire from long range. M1 gets recruited. Captain and American infantry on the front. Again, Blackwing, plenty of resources, need be. And white phosphors can be deployed if necessary. Bazooka team coming on in against Panzer IV. Jackson and Sherman need to move on in to fight off that threat. But there again, knocks out the M1. Artillery focusing in the sector as well. Really putting the American in a tight spot. But artillery does a bit of friendly fire, which is hilarious in my opinion. Mortar now in a bit of a tough spot. Hold on. Can we maybe focus on the Sherman? One shot from the Sherman. I'm sorry, the Panzer IV. Again, sprinting up and maybe dealing with it could be a good benefit for the Axis. Volk squad's finally coming on in after being reinforced. But even with that counterattack, he's not getting a lot of territory. Vector's still down overall, and Blackwing's getting 63 munitions per turn. That will slowly change, but not that many units on Vector's side can grab territory, so it's going to be a slow change. Captain, again, I feel like do not engage the King, right? Without recon, and I feel like the American should start using flares. I think flares would be a good idea. One thing as well is this LAVH is slowly getting more and more veterancy, so that might become more of a nuisance. Wait, can we... Oh, why did he retreat? Oh my god, he could have killed the Sturm. Well, King Tiger's down to half health thanks to the Jackson firing from range, so that's at 1 positive. And they have enough AT here, the King Tiger can't just charge in willy-nilly. Another issue is healing. As the Panzers take more damage and their health deteriorates, they have 1 Sturm. So Vector, realizing this, gets a second one. He also needs his building operational, but luckily he's also upgrading it, so looks like the healing concern is going to be fixed. I also agree with chat. I think a Easy 8 would be a good pick. Any additional armor would be a good idea right now. King Tiger's down to about, I would say, 40%, maybe a third of health. Double bouncing, though, does not help out. 19 kills so far. This King has really turned the tide. Again, he's definitely been thrown a loop into Blackwing's plans. Now, Blackwing still has advantage with infantry. I think armor is where Blackwing is currently lacking, and I feel like that's weird given the fact he has 500 fuel. He needs a bit more, honestly. In my personal opinion, he needs a bit more in terms of resources. All right. Airbursting the area. Trying to help. Panzer IV trying to wear down the American infantry. I mean, again, Vet 3, 42 kills. It's done work. And I'll give credit where they've kept it alive after numerous times where I think it should have died. Yeah, so again, we have Easy 8s, not 76, right? But, I mean, it still is very effective, I would say, against medium armor. So I'm surprised he hasn't gotten it. M1 set up against the Panzer IV. Jackson on standby. But again, double AT line right here. Needs to be very careful. Gets hit once. Might get hit again. King Tiger still needs heals. Let's be very clear here. Sherman hitting the right side. Push back Volk. Again, this is where infantry could be very effective. Again. Oh, he used flares. He did. They have recon in this sector, so we can spot the King and use the Jackson and M1 at range. They hit it. So, very nice job. Although the Raketenwerfers are hiding. But, I think he should know where they are. But Volk Squad, even though with limited infantry, is coming on in. Again, you need something to fight this Panzer IV. You just lack that. I do not understand why Blackwing refuses to get more armor. I do not understand. Again, right now, he's not doing too bad, but he needs that additional support because the Panzer, he does not have enough AT to deal with 2 Panzer IVs and a King Tiger in the front. He needs something else. Otherwise, this game could be over soon. Because, again, if the King is about to get healed and the Panzer IVs are, relatively speaking, can be healed. Okay, never mind. This one's not going to be healed anytime soon. I'm assuming artillery here. Hey, he's repositioning. But yeah, you can easily use 4s and just drive a wedge right in. But we shall see. Alright, Sherman is Vet 3, so at least that's a positive. And Jackson is very close to getting Vet 3, which is also very good. White Phosphorus is yet to be picked. Blackwing can use that. Again, he used the Flare, but this is where you need to use the Doctrine's other abilities. White Phosphorus right here would be perfect. Knocked out the AT guns. 1, 2, 3. Are we getting killed at Jackson? Jackson injured, but not dead. Thank God. Okay, but Captain flanking the AT guns. Although gets put down by the King. 25 kills so far. Is he going to wipe it? Ooh. Sherman trying to hold the flank, but Panzer IV moving on in. He does not... Okay, switching arm piercing. M1 focusing on the AT gun. Jackson still on standby. Again, you're losing troops on the front. The King's just blasting you. M1 repositioning, but King is now open to move. Does pen. Vet 1, so we can technically use some additional abilities. Also, you have the munitions. Why aren't you using abilities? Like, I'm waiting on it. I'm waiting on that great, like, you know, like American armor rush, but you're getting a fucking captain instead. What is happening? Again, you're just being worn down by long-range fire. The guy's 32 kills with this King Tiger. Like, it is absolutely throwing a wrench into the Allied lines and also leaving a bunch of free equipment. Sturms now have a bazooka and killed your echelon. Blackwing, get some goddamn armor. I don't even care if it's a Jackson. Just get something. Double Jackson could be very effective in this fight, but just you need something. You managed to kill another Volk squad, which I'll give full credit toward. That does weaken Vector a bit, but Vector has enough resources to go for a 3rd Panzer IV if he wanted to. And honestly, I think that would be the right move. Sturms took a bar and not a bazooka. Oh, they did? I swear I thought they took... oh, they had a PyroShark. Okay, that's what they did. Vet 4, Panzer IV, nothing to sneeze at. AT gun hits it. We'll drive it away. King Tiger, though, moving on in on the M1's flank, though he quickly repositions. Panzer IV, though, moving on in its flank. Focusing efforts, King and Panzer IV quickly knock out the AT gun. Again, lacking AT, although airburst shells from the LFH are hurting the King, which is not a great position to be in. Panzer IV being hit by the fucking Jackson. Great job. Just get more. Like, what is... Blackwing also... White Phosphorus. White Phosphorus the front. Alright, Sherman moving on in. Panzer IV at a bit of a disadvantage. Jackson as well, but it's... because it's in AT position. Or maybe the brush, you can't shoot it. I don't know. Panzer IVs are injured. Does manage to kill a rifleman squad up here, so good kill. What the... Why are you... Okay. There's a better way to fight. And he lost another captain to the King. Oh my God. And he surrendered. He fucking surrendered. What? What? I'm sorry, what? He just gave up? Really? Oh my God, what happened? I don't okay, let me be very clear. I do not understand this game. I truly, I don't understand the mindset of Blackwing. I get, Vector, thank you for submitting this, but I find it so weird. You did not make another armored unit. I find it so weird that even a Jackson would have been a Jackson double teaming would have hurt it. Like, what is happening? I don't chat, am I missing something here? Like, I don't get it. Blackwing had the resources, had the infantry advantage. All he needed to do was get like a Jackson or just focus on, like, it was already being Vector's infantry. He lost hope. It was like, that is a game where you, like, technically should win the battle, but morale-wise, yeah, 100%. You have better infantry. Your armor, I would say, is superior for the most part. Then the king comes out, starts wiping your men, and you're just, like, thrown into this endless spiral where you just don't know what to do. It's so weird. I don't understand. But MVP-wise, Jackson, again, on point. The Riflemen were solid. Like, he didn't lose anything until the king came out. Volk Squad's also really good. I don't understand. This game was this game, Blackwing had the game in the palm of his hands, and then he gave it to the enemy and just walked away. I am so befuddled by this. He had this game locked down, and he chose to just walk away. And I find it so fascinating. But, yeah, more armor would have been better. He had way more resources. He could have used his white phosphorus. He never used his commander abilities for the Easy Gate or the white phosphorus, just the flares and the mines. And I find that super weird, right? Like, why not use those abilities to benefit your team? I don't get it. Anyway, nah, mate, I'm done. Yeah, exactly. I find that super weird. I don't understand it. But that's like one of the best instances of a morale victory. Of making yourself so intimidating that even though the enemy could easily beat you, they like, oh, I guess I have to lose. I guess I lost this. Wow. Good job, Vector. Good job. Hey, what do you guys think? Leave a comment down below if I use this for YouTube. I'll see you guys next time. Hello, everyone. This is Greyshot17. And before y'all go, let me give a special shout out to Patreon supporters Joey G240, Milam, BigChuche, Aphyria, Ace, PyroShark, Tony B95, Epic Pleb. Thank you all for your incredible support and helping me grow my channel and support my channel and everything I do. Thank you, and to the rest of you, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.